Assalamualaikum everyone. I'd like to share this presentation regarding the social movements. So I am your friend, Brother Juar Salvarez from the Order of the Scouts Carmelite Secular. So there are two prominent features of the social movements: acceptance of change and resistance of change. Remember this? The resistance of change or even the acceptance of change in the previous administration. So even when we talk about social movements, ito yung prominent features. So take note, acceptance of change or resistance to change. And I think in this course you have already an idea, especially when you had your subject regarding social change, which is also related to social movements. So we move on. So there are several types of the social movements. The first is the redemptive movements. What about these redemptive movements? Are usually religious in nature, which do not attempt to change society but especially target change in people. So religious by nature, and in nature it was redemptive. So there are a lot of movements about this when we talk about the different denomination, the different sects o mga sekta in a religious organization in Islam as well as in Christianity and other major religion in the world. So once again, attempts to change the society but specifically target on the change in people. Okay? Then what about the alternative types of social change? Social movement seeks total change among individuals. Examples are students, organizations, civil societies, non-government organization, or government organization campaigning to people, especially the young ones, to steer clear of the prohibited drugs. Remember also the previous one, the movement of the young people, of the people, like the Tukhang. Remember the Tukhang? Okay, steer clear of the prohibited drugs. So maraming sumusuporta, the civil societies, even the NGOs and the government organization. That's an alternative. Once again, seeks total change among the individuals. The third types is reformative movements. What about these movements? Aim to change not only one's behavior, but also the behavior of the whole society. These are nationally organized efforts to change the norms of the society. So that's reformative. Kaya nga, once again, balikan natin yon, part of the reformative. The previous president, especially the war on drugs. That can be part. Okay? Maraming sumasali at maraming nagbago. Kaya nga reformative mo, change not only one's behavior but also the behavior of the whole society. Kaya nga medyo nabawas-bawasan yung mga addict. Okay? That's part of the reformative movements. Pero hindi nga na-sustain. So, yun yung problem din. Then another type is transformative movements. The transformative movements work for a total change of the society. Total change of the society. So, yun naman yung uri ng movements. Then the next is regressive or the reactionary movements. Regressive or reactionary movements have to aim of setting back the clock. Members view certain social changes with a suspicion and distaste and try to reverse the current trends in the society. Kagaya ngayon, in the present administration, kaya nga reactionary, grabing paninirang puri, especially to the head of the state. Okay, reactionary or regressive. The aim of setting back the clock. Once again, members view certain social changes with suspicion and distaste and try to reverse, take note, the current trends in the society. Okay, then the next is the reform or revisionary movements. Believe that the certain changes in specific areas of society are necessary but still satisfied with the existing order. Okay, that's a reform or revisionary movements. So another is revolutionary, and from the word in itself, alam natin yan. Revolutionary movements are deeply dissatisfied with the existing social order and work for radical change that is tailored on their ideological beliefs. Remember the Maote? Remember the NPAs? That's more on revolutionary movements. Ideological beliefs. Doon sila nakaangkla. Then the next is the utopian movements. Refers to the members' vision of radical change and blissful life. Ayan naman, radical change and blissful life, either on a large scale, sometimes in the future, or a small scale at present. Several contemporary religious cults are examples of the utopian movement. So once again, mga kulto naman din ito, nire-refer sa kulto. Radical change or blissful life. If you want to be happy, if you want to be saved, sundin ninyo ito. Kaya nga sabi, I think it happened also in Africa and the United States. Time na year na ganito, matatapos na ang mundo. All of us will go to heaven. Kaya nga lahat dapat, yon, kung ano yung sinasabi, sinusunod in order to have a blissful life. But that's more on the cult, the religious cult. So ang dami-daming kulto sa buong mundo. In the Philippines, you have a lot of kulto. Okay? That's utopian movements. What about the escapist or retreatist movement? This movement do not seek to change society, but to withdraw from it and not to experience its corruption. Certain religious sects are examples of this type of movement where the group of members isolate themselves from contact with the outsiders. Ayan, retreat from the word escape from this issue, pupunta sa malayo para doon sila, they isolate themselves. Maaring happy sila doon. Okay? So yun, they are in the isolation. Kaya nga, nagre-retreat sila from this world, punta sila kung saan man sila napunta. Humiwalay, nag-isolate sila sa sarili nila from the contact of the outsiders. Then, the repressive social movements aim to change the psychological and emotional social movements of their individual members. The basic forms of expressive movements are religious movements and fashion movements which do not aim to change the world but give the members opportunities for engaging ceremonial and related behavior so that inner feelings can be satisfactorily expressed. So, more on religious naman itong expressive social movements. Okay? Once again, expressive social movements are religious movements and fashion movements which do not aim to change the world, but to give members opportunity of engaging a ceremonial or a related behavior so that inner feelings can be satisfactorily expressed. So, sa Pilipinas, marami-rami din ito. Okay? More on the religious movement. The born-again movements that can be, come here. Jesus is here. We are happy. Na bago tayo. Ganito, ganyan. So, yan. They can express satisfactorily about their feelings, the inner feelings. So now, other important social movements, globalization, breaking down the nation's barriers so that nations can interact freely with each other. This word globalization, I think alam na ninyo ito. Because of this, there are pros and cons. Kaya nga, pasalamat tayo sa globalization. Parang the world nowadays is becoming smaller and smaller, shrinking. itong world because of globalization, because of the modern technology, the trading system, the communication. Yun yung advantages. But there are also disadvantages of globalization. Then, women's movement. Women claim the rights as men. Ayan, marami din yan sila. Pare-pareho tayo. We are created equal. So, therefore, whatever is the right of men, it's also our right. So, that's a women's movement. Then, industrialization. This is an introduction of the power machines and factory in the manufacture goods. So, alam na natin itong movements, ito industrialization. Now, what about this social movement? Sinasabi nga, there is no single consensus definition when we talk about social movement. So, there are authors who give their own definition. Like Mario Gianni argues that nearly all definitions, there are three criteria according to Gianni. A network of informational interaction between a plurality of individuals, groups, or organizations engaged in a political, cultural, on the basis of shared collective identity. That's according to Gianni. Then another author, a sociologist, Charles Tilly, he defines social movements as a series of contentious performances displayed and campaigned by which ordinary people make a collective claims on others. So, make a collective claims on others. That's according to a psychologist, particular Charles Tilly. Then for Tilly, social movements are major vehicles for ordinary people's participation in public politics. So this is now the participation of people in the public politics. So more on participation, more on the engagement of the ordinary people to public. That's according to Tilly. Then another definition, some movements can be defined as collective efforts of individual or groups or organized into social movements to project social change. So there's a relationship, take note on the relationship between social change and social movement. Social movements refers to any persistent, organized, collective efforts to resist existing structures. So once again, refers to the permanent, organized, collective efforts to resist existing structures. Okay? Then Bulmer also defines the movement simply as a collective enterprise to establish a new order of life. If you notice, they are interrelated. Okay? Then it is a large, fairly permanent group of individuals who attempt to influence the future of society by means of popular action rather than leaving policy decisions to elected legislative bodies. That's also according, it was quoted in the research of Stewart and Glein in 1979, I think it's page 245. In general, the social movement is then a type of collectivity. It is not a cultural trend or precipitous cultural change. There is, of course, a close relationship between social change and cultural change, but they constitute different aspects of social reality of the study. Then, to continue, the social movement is an activity of diffuse collectively oriented towards a changing the social order. Then another author said, Turner and Killian, they said that social movement is a collective behavior based on some continuity to promote or resist change in society or group of which it is a part. It is characterized by 1, collective actions, which is initiated, organized, and sustained. Then 2, more on ideology. Then 3, oriented towards social change. So take note on this characteristic according to Turner and Killian. One is a collective action, which is initiated, organized, and sustained. Then second is more on ideology. Then third, oriented towards social change. Gusto naming pagbabago. Okay. So yun yung according to Turner and Killian. So another author. So once again, there are a lot of definition, but take note, they are interconnected, they are interrelated definitions. Kaya nga, no consensus nagdepende sa author. It depends also to the situation. Sidney Thoreau defines social movements as collective changes to elites, authorities, other groups of cultural codes by people with common purposes and solidarity in sustained interactions with the elites, opponents, and authorities. He specifically distinguishes social movement from political parties and advocacy groups. That's according to Thoreau. So another sociologist, I think you're familiar with the sociologists when you talk up your subject on sociology before. John McCarthy and Mayer Zald. They define social movement as a set of opinions and beliefs in a population which represents preferences for changing some elements of the social structure and or reward distribution of the society. So that's according to them. Another authors, Paul Sitters and Paul James, they define also social movements which entails a few minimal conditions of coming together. Coming together. Yun yung punto naman nila. Social movements for Tilly are major vehicles for ordinary people's participation in public affairs. So kagaya yung sinabi in the previous slides. So yun yung mga authors na nagsasabi all about social movements. So marami na. Now, Tilly argues that there are three major elements to the social movements. Take notice, major elements to the social movements. The campaign, that's the first element. A sustained, organized public efforts making collective claims of targeting authorities. Alam natin yan. Then, repertoire or repertoire of contention. Employment of a combination from among the following forms of political actions, creation of special purpose associations and coalitions, public meetings, solemn processions, vigils, rallies, demonstrations, petition drives, statement to and in public media, and pamphleteering. And the next is the so-called WUN displays. The participations concerned the public of worthiness, unity, numbers, and commitments on the part of themselves and or the constituencies. So once again, the meaning of UWNC, the worthiness, unity, numbers, and commitments on the parts of themselves and or their constituencies. So these are the three major elements according to Tilly when we talk about social movements. So there are characteristics. Take note on the characteristics of the social movement. Baka lalabas ito sa exam and also in your comprehensive examination. First, expresses the dissatisfaction of people. I think that's self-explanatory. Then the members of the movement expect that something will be done about the matter. Then social movements are highly organized. Take note that social movements are highly organized. That's another characteristic. Then group of people who feel very strongly about the matter. Then the propaganda, the next characteristic, the propaganda. When public attention is drawn to matters, then influences of public opinion, then have a potential to bring about social change. That's why part of your assignment, part of your research, be able to know about the difference between social movement and social change. Okay? Then may transform the society. That's another characteristic. Then potential strengths should not be over or underestimated, especially pag grupo na yon ng mga tao. Kaya a collective behavior. So that's a movement. Dahil like the ANC movement before the democracy of April 1994, which initiated the transformation of society. That's nangyayari yan last 1994. So those are the characteristics of social movement. Then what about the social movement's history? According to Bringing, when they talk about the history, allow me to read this. The early growth of social movements was connected to a broad economic and political changes in England in the mid-18th century, including political representation, market capitalization, and proletarianization. So that it happens in the mid-18th century in England. Then the first mass social movement catalyzed around a controversial political figure like John Wilkes, the editor of the paper North Britain. Wilkes vigorously attacked the new administration of the Lord Bute and the peace terms that new governments accepted at the 1963 Treaty of Paris and at the end of the 7 Years' War. So I think in our history, we know about this Treaty of Paris. Kaya nga, that was the start of this social movement. Then other political movements that emerged in the late 18th century include the British abolitionist movement against the slavery, becoming one between a sugar boycott in 1791 and the Second Great Petition Drive in 1806, and possibly the upheaval surrounding the French and American Revolution. So that's the history also in the other countries, not only in England, but in the other countries, especially France and America, or American Revolution. Then other political movements that emerged in the late 18th century included the British abolitionist movement against slavery, becoming one between the sugar boycott 1971, the second, I think we mentioned that already, and possibly the upheaval of surrounding the French and American Revolution. Then the growth and the spread of the social movement. I think we still remember in our history. Kung hindi tayo natulog sa lecture in our world history, still remember. From 1815, Britain, after the victory of Napoleonic Wars, entered a period of social upheaval characterized by the growing majority of the use of the social movements and special interest associations. Chartism was the first mass movement of the growing work class in the world. Then the term social movements was introduced in 1850 by a German sociologist, Lorenz von Steen, in his book History of the French Social Movement from 1786 to the present 1852 and until today. So once again, the one who introduced the term social movement is a German sociologist by the name of Lorenz von Steen, when he wrote his book History of the French Social Movement from 1789 to the present. That was 1850 and until today. That's why this is history. Then the labor movement and the socialist movement of the 19th century are seen in the prototypical social movements leading to the formation of the communist and social democratic parties and organizations. These tendencies were seen in the poorer countries as pressure to reform continued. For example, in Russia, with the Russian Revolution 1905 and of 1917, resulting in the collapse of Tsarist regime around the end of the First World War. Then in 1945, Britain, after the victory of the Second World War, entered a period of radical reform and change. In a post-war period, women's rights, gay rights, peace, civil rights, anti-nuclear and environmental movements emerged, often dubbed the new social movement. So yun yung history of the social movement. So matagal na. And until today, it's still existing. That's why ito yung course natin. That's why it's good to know about the history of the social movements. What about the methods? Anong ginagawa nila about the movement? They have the methods used. The first is the peaceful movements. Various movements which are non-violent means as protests as part of the campaign of non-violent resistance, also called the civil resistance. The American Civil Rights Movements, the Police Solidarity Movement, or the non-violent civil disobedience-oriented wing of the Indian independence movement would fall into this category. So, peaceful movement, one of the methods of work that they use. The second is violent movements. So, the opposite of peaceful. Various movements to resort to violence, they are usually armed. In extreme cases, can take form of the paramilitary or terrorist organization, like, for example, the Roth Army, the Fraction, the Al-Qaeda, here in the Philippines, the Maote, the NPA, CPP, NPA. So, ito na yung mga violent movements. One of the methods na ginagamit din. So, which is opposite to the peaceful movements. Then we have also the so-called the new and the old movements. What about the old movements? Movements for change have existed for many centuries. Most of the oldest organized movements dating the late 18th to 19th centuries fought for specific social groups such as working class, the peasant, the whites, the aristocrats, the Protestant, the men. They usually centered on some materialistic goals like improving standards of living or, for example, the political autonomy of working classes. So that was the old movement. But the new, nowadays, movements which became dominant from the second half of the 20th century, like the feminist movement, pro-choice movement, civil rights movement, environmental movement, free software movement, the gay rights movement, peace movement, anti-nuclear movement, the alter globalization movement, mayroon ding anti-globalization movement, etc. Sometimes they are known a new social movement. They are usually centered on issues that go beyond, but not to separate from the class. So ito na yung tatalakayin natin, especially the new movements in our topics. So marami tayong isi-share dyan in our topics. But take note of this new movement. And I think alam na alam din natin ito. Okay? Na mga movement nowadays, the new movements. Okay? Then we have also the so-called the insiders. The identification supporters, mga insiders, tawag yung, of course, mga supporters. Often exaggerate the level of support by considering people supporters whose level of activity is or support is weak, but also reject those that outsider might consider supporters because they discredit the cause or are even seen as adversaries. So yung mga insiders, pero may iba ding paningin nila sa outsiders. And what about the outsiders? Those not supporters who may tend to either underestimate or overestimate the level of support or activity of elements of the movement by including or excluding those that insiders would exclude or include. So ito yung the types of supporters. It can be insider, it can be outsider. Next, there are two dimensions of the definitions of social movement that exclude some expressions of social political behaviors. Number one, social movement must have the capacity to mobilize its membership. Once again, the first dimension, the capacity to mobilize its membership. Then, number two, mobilization must be sustained over a period of time. So, mobilize, sustain. These are the two dimensions of the definitions of social movement. We move on. We have also the so-called the interest group and the social movement. What about this interest group or the IG? Interest groups also comprise set of collective actors, and they are quite similar to social movement. Yet there are also differences. So what about the differences? The interest group are defined in relation to the government or polity, whereas interests of social movement extend well beyond the polity to other institutional spheres. So that's more on interest group as well as the social movement. Then another one, interest group are generally embedded within the political arena, as most are regarded as legitimate actors within it. Then social movements are, on the other hand, typically outside of the polity. So these are the interest group these are the difference between the interest groups and the social movement. Another one is the interest group pursues collective objective mainly through institutionalized means, whereas the social movements pursue their ends mainly via the use of non-institutional means, that is, conducting marches, the boycotts, and sit-ins. Okay? Parang a sit-down strike. Then, the question, how social movement and interest group or other collective activities overlap? Nag-overlap ba sila? But these are some. Each of them can arise spontaneously or can result from a prior planning, negotiations, or organization, even crowd, when it's sponsored and organized by the social movement. Pwedeng spontaneous. Then, SM and the interest group can form an alliance to press their joint interests together. Another thing is some social movement develop over time. They often become more and more institutionalized, with some of the evolving into interest groups or even parties. What about the chains? All definitions of social movements reflect on the notions that social movements are integrally related to social chains. So ito na ngayon, social chains and the social movements, they are integrally related. They do not encompass the activities of people as members of stable social groups with established and questioned structures, norms, and values. The behavior of members of the social movements does not reflect on the assumptions that the social order will continue essentially as it is. Then especially modern social movements assume that possibility of steering history into a specific direction. What the direction is does not matter. It does not matter in this instance. What matters is the direction itself. So that's more on the relationship of social movement and social chains. It reflects also instead the faith that people collectively can bring about and prevent social change if they will dedicate themselves to the pursuit of a goal. Uncommitted observers may regard these goals as illusions, but to the members, they are hopes that are quite capable of realization. As about these activities, the members of the social movement would not reply I do this because it has always been done. Then, or it's just the custom. He is aware that his behavior is influenced by a goal of the movement. To bring, ito yung dapat goal of the movement, to bring about a change in a way things have always been done, or sometimes to prevent such a change from coming about. Then the interactions. We know different kinds of possibility or possible collective behaviors like the crowd, for instance. But collective behaviors in the crowds, panics, and elementary forms like milling are a brief duration or episodic and are guarded largely by impulse. They don't constitute a social movement as they don't create eternal bonds among its participants. This is necessary for sustaining social movements. So interactions is also very, very important. Okay, it's possible. It's a kind of collective behaviors. Then a movement is not merely perpetuated crowd. Since a crowd does not possess organizational and motivational mechanisms capable of sustaining members through periods of inaction and waiting. Furthermore, crowd's mechanism cannot be used to achieve communication and coordination of activity over a wide area, such as a nation or a continent. But, there's a but here, when a short-lived impulses give way to a long-term aims, and when sustained association takes a place of a situational groupings of people, the result is social movement. Take note when a short-lived impulses give way to a long-term aims, and when sustained association takes the place of the situational groupings of people, and this is the result of the so-called social movement. Then, areas of social movement operating, we can identify according to guidance 4 areas in which social movements operate in a modern society. The first is the democratic movements that work for political rights. Take note, saan yung mga areas nag-operate yung social movement. Sample is number 1 is democratic movement. It talks about or it works for political rights. Second, labor movements that work for a control of the workplace. The third, this is very, very important also, ecological movements that are concerned with the environment. Then, the fourth is peace movement that work toward well and peace. So, these are the movements, social movements that operates in the modern society today. Okay? Take note the 4, democratic, the labor, ecological, and peace movements na nag-operate yung tinatawag nating the social movements. So, may types of social movements that can be described according to Aberle. Then, 4 types of social movements based upon the 2 characteristics. So, there are 4 types based upon the 2 characteristics. Number 1 characteristic is, who is the movement attempting to change and how much change is being advocated. So, these are the 2 characteristics according to Arbel or Arbeli with the 4 types of social movements. So, ito na yung 4 types of social movements. The how much change, limited and radical, the alternative social movements, the redemptive social movements, then who changed? They have the reformative social movements, then the revolutionary social movements. So this is according to one of the well-known author in his study, according to Aberle in 1966. Then there are stages. Take note on the stages of the social movement. The different stages of social movement often pass through, una, the movements emerge. So nag-emerge siya in a variety of reasons. Then after nag-emerge siya, nandyan siya, nag-collate sila. Okay, na-emerge, nag-grupo-grupo naman, then generally bureaucratized. Then at that point, they can make a number of paths, including finding some of the movements either a success, a failure, optation of leaders, repression by a large group, that is the government, and even the establishment of the movement within the mainstreams, or mainstream. So, yun yung stages. Emerge, coalesce, then generally bureaucratize, then either may success or failure, then to the establishment of the mainstream. So, ito na yung the diagram of the stages of the social movement. So, take note. Emerge, nag-emerge sila, then nagrupo-grupo sila, nag-coalesce, then na-bureaucratize. So, either, kung nandoon na, makikita nila, tingnan nyo ito, kita nila na either success, failure, cooptation, repression, then they will go to mainstream, then to the decline. That was adopted, this diagram from Bloomer in 1969 and Mauss 1970, and of course Tilly, one of the sociologists, in 1978. So these are the stages of the social movements. Then the theoretical perspective of the social movements. The serious theories of change of movements are based on the general approaches or principles of the society's development. So, social movements theories, nandito nakasulat, the collective behavior, mass society approach, deprivation theory, resource mobilization, political processes, the new movements, and new social movements. So, these are the theories of the social movement. Then there are two significant problems of this theory. First, since most people feel deprived of one level or another almost all the time, the theory has had a hard time explaining why the groups that form social movements do when other people are also deprived. Then second problem, reasoning behind this theory is circular. Often the only evidence for deprivation is the social movement. If deprivation is claimed to be the cause, but the only evidence for such is the movement, reasoning is circular. So, ulit-ulit lang. What about this collective behavior theory? Yung the theories of this movement, the social movement. Or we call it the structural strain theory. Take note on this. The supporters of this approach consider social movements as semi-rational responses to the abnormal condition of structural strain between the major societal institution, and the strain causes malfunctioning of the whole social system. That's a collective behavior theory or structural strain theory. Then the theories proposes 6 factors that encourage social movement development according to Smeltzer. The structural conduciveness, that people come to believe their society has a problem. That's more on structural conduciveness. Then structural strain, people experience deprivation. Then the third, the growth and spread of a solution. A solution to the problems people are experiencing is proposed and spreads. So ito yung tatlo. Then pang-apat, precipitating factors. Discontent usually requires catalyst, often a specific event, to turn it into the social movement. Then the fifth is the lack of social control. The entity that is to be changed must be at least sometimes often to the change. If the social movement is quickly and powerfully repressed, it may never materialize. Then the last one is mobilization. This is an actual organizing and active component of the movement. People do what needs to be done. So these are the theory or the 6 factors that encourages social movement development according to Myler. So once again, structural conduciveness, structural strain, growth and spread of solution, then precipitating factors, lack of social control and mobilization. Then it stresses also the structural function of the society and ignores its developing function. The normal state of the society, according to Schmelzer, is the state where civil society completely correlates to social order. In practice, Schmelzer considers the situation when civil society does not develop. This is why the proponent of the collective behavior approach assess the situation of society's development as abnormal. That is why the collective behavior approach considers social movement irrational and psychopathological. So what about this mass society approach and deprivation? The mass society perspective and deprivation theory are close to the approach of the collective behavior, but there are some differences. So we have the deprivation theory, argues that the social movements have their foundation among the people who feel deprived from goods or resources. According to this approach, individuals who are lacking some good services or comfort are more likely to organize social movements to improve or defend their conditions, and it adds to the collective behavior approach that social movement is a mild or aborted, weak or undeveloped form of revolutionary outbreak as an aspect of revolution. So that's more on the deprivation theory. So we have the mass society theory. What about this mass society theory? Argues that social movements are made up of individuals in a large societies who feel insignificant or socially detached. Social movements, according to this theory, provide a sense of empowerment and belonging that movement members would otherwise not have. Very little support has been found in this theory now, this mass society theory. So, konti na lang daw ang sumusuporta sa teoryang ito. Then, according to this position, the normal and healthy society is characterized by a strong class and group solidarities, which play the controlling function and prevent the manipulation of the people. But when this class or group solidarity becomes weak under the conditions of industrialization or urbanization, the processes of massification or anatomization, the ruthlessness begin. These uprooted, atomized masses become vulnerable to direct mobilizing appeals by powerful elites and the charismatic leaders. Kaya nga sinasabi na itong mass society theory, very little support has been found sa atin ngayon. So next, what about resource mobilization theory? Emphasizes on the importance of the resources and social movement development and success. Resources are understood here to include knowledge, money, media, labor, solidarity, legitimacy, and internal and external support from the power elite. The theory argues that social movements develop when individuals with grievances are able to mobilize sufficient resources to take action. The emphasis on the resources offers an explanation why some discontented or deprived individuals are able to organize while others are not. So this is more on resource mobilization theory. Then there are some assumptions of that theory, which include, number one, there will always be grounds for protests in modern or political pluralistic society because there is a constant discontentment, the grievances or deprivation. that de-emphasize the importance of these factors as it makes them ubiquitous. Then actors are rational, they weigh the cost and benefits from the movement participation. Then number 3, members are recruited through networks. Commitment is maintained by building a collective identity and continuing the nurture of interpersonal relationships. Then the movement's organizations is contingent upon the aggression of the resources. Then the 6 and number 5, the social movement organizations require resources and continuity of leadership. So kailangan yon. Then social movements, entrepreneurs, and protest organizations are the catalysts which transform collective discontent in the social movements. Then social movements organizations form the backbone of social movements. 7. The form of the resources shapes the activities of the movement. That is, access to the TV station will result also the extensive use of TV media. Then movements, number 8, develop in contingent opportunity structures that influence their efforts to mobilize as each movement responds to the opportunity structures depends on the movement's organization and resources. There is no clear pattern of movement development, nor are specific movement techniques or universal methods. Then critics of this theory argue that there is too much of an emphasis on resources, especially financial resources. Some movements are effective without an influx of money and are more dependent upon the movement members for time and labor, like the civil rights movement in the United States of America. Then the next theory is political process theory. So there are a lot of theories, I think that's 8. So political process theory is similar to resource mobilization in many regards, but tends to emphasize a different component of social structure that is important of social movements development, political opportunities. Then political process theories argues that there are 3 components. What are these 3 components, vital components of this political theory? The insurgent consciousness, take note, the organizational strength, and the political opportunities. Nangyayari ba ito sa atin? Naaring nangyayari. Especially pag makita nating 3 vital elements of the movement formation. Insurgent consciousness, organizational strength, then the political opportunities. Then the idea is that certain members of society feel like they are being mistreated or that somehow the system is unjust. The insurgent consciousness is the collective sense of injustice that movement members or potential movement members feel and serve as a motivation for movement organization. Then organizational change falls in line with resource mobilization theory, arguing that in order for a social movement to organize, it must have strong leadership and sufficient resources. Then the next theory is the cultural theory. So take note how we are still on the theory of the social movement. What about this culture theory? Builds upon both political process and resource mobilization theories, but extend them in 2 ways. So interrelated pa rin sila. What are these 2 ways? Emphasizes on the importance of the movement culture, kaya nga culture theory. Then second, it attempts to address the free rider problem. So ito na yung pagkakaiba. Parang is a combination of political process and resource mobilization theory, pero to the extent of the 2 ways. It emphasizes on the importance of movement culture and it attempts to address the free rider problem. Then in order for a social movements to successfully mobilize individuals, they must develop an injustice frame. Wow, what about this injustice frame? It is a collection of ideas and symbols that illustrate both how significant the problem is as well as what the movement can do to alleviate it. Emphasizing on the injustice frame, cultural theory also addresses the free rider problem. So, sabi nga, we have to do this. If we follow the cultural rate, we have the so-called, we must develop the so-called the injustice frame, which is the collection of ideas. Then, what about this free rider problem? So, take note kung ano itong free rider problem. This refers to the idea that people will not motivate to participate in a social movement that will use up their personal resources. Ito na yon. Kaya free rider. Gusto lang na mag-free. Yung mga pulyas ayaw maglabas ng pera. But well, this is part of this theory. Once again, the free rider problem, take note, refers to the idea that people will not motivate to participate in the social movement that will use up their personal resources, that is time and money, if they can still receive the benefits without participating. In other words, if a person X knows that movement Y is working to improve environmental conditions in this neighborhood, he is presented with a choice, either join or not to join the movement. Kaya nga free rider, yung tinatawag yung free rider problem. I think naintindihan ninyo yan. Then if he believes that the movement will succeed without him, he can avoid participation in the movement, save his resources, and still reap the benefits. This is free riding. Okay, sakay-sakay ba? Musakay, walay bayad. So may mga tao din ganon. Bakit ako gagasta? Kung maka-benefits mo, well and good. Then, hindi ako magastos. So yun yung free rider. Yun yung free rider problem. May mga tao talagang ganyan. Why should I spend my time and money? Na pareho naman, may benefits din tayong makukuha. Then, a significant problem of social movement theory has been to explain why people join the movements if they believe the movement can and will succeed without their contribution. So, yun yung mga free rider. Then, the culture theory argues that the conjunction without social networks being an important contact tool, the injustice frame will provide the motivation for people to contribute to the movement. So with that, I hope may natutunan tayo about the social movement. So in the next lecture, in the next slides, in the next presentation that I'll be sharing with you, we'll be discussing some of the types or some of the examples of the so-called social movements. So you know the types, you know the characteristics and everything. So in the next slides, I'll be sharing with you some well-known examples of the social movement. So with that, thank you for listening. God bless everyone. This is your friend, Brother Joe Ars, Dalaygon ang Diyos.